Members, the Housing Committee for consideration of the Vulnerable Children Bill. When we were last considering this bill, we were debating clauses 1 and 2. Sue Moroney had the call and she has 1 minute 17 seconds remaining if she wishes. So the question is, are clauses 1 and 2 stand part? I call Poto Williams.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Happy to take a call on what is a really significant bill. Just to recap, I guess that what I do want to say is I just want to take us back to the beginning before we launch into the final clause of this bill, back to the beginning, the start of this work, which started with the Green Paper on vulnerable children, which then became the White Paper, which significant numbers of members of the community actually spoke to. Somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 submissions were made on this particular piece of work. So it is an important bill that we are debating, and I want to just kind of make sure that we don't lose sight of how significant this bill could be in the lives of vulnerable children. I want to speak to the last part of this particular bill, where we discuss such issues as transitioning young people from care, and we look at the ages that this particular bill should be addressing. We've spoken during various parts of this bill about the significance of moving the age of definition of young person from 17 to 18 years. And it does actually demonstrate that there is an anomaly within this legislation. It doesn't occur in other legislation. The definition should definitely move from 17 to 18 years, because that will bring it in line with the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child. And it makes sense in practical terms too, because Child, Youth and Family and other agencies working with these young people currently need to make special provisions for their care. So if I just want to refer to my notes here, it also will allow for better help for young people moving from care to independence, so that financial assistance can be available where it's considered necessary to enable the achievement of independence rather than in exceptional circumstances, and that so that assistance can be given when it's requested. It clarifies that assistance would be available for those aged between 15 and 19 years, and those who have been in residential care as well. And for that, every young person exiting this care should have a support plan in place, because we are talking about significant young people, or young people with some significant issues, for whom being in care has been their life, and they have not really experienced living independent lives or being able to access resources in the community themselves. They are young people for whom the state has been their carer. So I would like to think that we could be thinking about recommending that these young people continue in some form of support until they're at least age 20. These young people have special and significant need, and they are transitioning from care of the state into looking after themselves, care for themselves, without having the state or other support agencies having very little to do with their ongoing care. So we have an expectation that they will be able to manage themselves well. They'll be able to cope on their own. Children who've had relatively stable upbringings find it a difficulty to cope. I don't know if any of you have teenagers, but I certainly have, and I know that teenagers that I have been involved with don't do so well when they are required to look after themselves. So talking about young people with marginal upbringings, who have not always had the best start in life, In my view, they need to have a good, stable and sometimes comprehensive support to ensure that what we want for them, which is good, stable, solid lives and the ability to reach their potential. So where we may have let these young people down in the past, we now have the opportunity to do something quite different and significant to ensure that they receive their potential. Our duty of care to them is not diminished because they are in care, it should be enhanced. So when we're thinking about... Thank you.
Call Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Chair. It's a pleasure to rise and speak on the title and commencement clauses of the